Finally, any settlements reached at the end of the process are paid out in secret using taxpayer dollars. That's what our next guest, Congressman Luke Messer from Indiana, is hoping to change. What would your bill do, sir?
Well, it would do two simple things. First, it would stop the use of taxpayer dollars to protect members of Congress from sexual harassment claims. And then secondly, it would release the victims of sexual harassment from these non-disclosure agreements so that they were empowered to tell their story. The victims should choose. If they want to tell their story, they ought to have the opportunity to do so.
Is it retroactive for the NDAs that were signed before?
Yes, and I believe it should be. Listen, it was never okay that taxpayer dollars would be used in this way, and it's not okay to use taxpayer dollars to silence these victims. So I think it should be retroactive. And then that process you described, too, I mean, it's a mess. It seems entirely designed to protect the member with very little thought to the person who's the victim of harassment. So I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
What if there are accusers who want to remain anonymous? Would there be protections in your bill for that?
Yes, that's right. Our intent would be that the victim gets to choose. So if a victim wants to stay private, then they should have the opportunity to do that. But if a victim wants the opportunity to speak out and tell their story, they should be allowed. So we should empower the victim to make their choice.
And as I understand it, one of the reasons there's this convoluted process is that there was concern about possible false allegations that are used for political purposes. Do you try to address that in your new legislation?
Well, listen, that can be a reality, but the member has an opportunity to speak and make sure their voice is heard as well. I think when you look at where this pendulum has swung, it's swung way too far in the direction of protecting the member and away from the victim. We ought not be using taxpayer dollars to settle sexual harassment claims for members of Congress, and we ought not silence these victims with non-disclosure agreements.
All right, Congressman Luke Messer, keep us posted. We appreciate you being on.
We will. Thanks.